Hello, and welcome to Teen Court Special. I'm your host, Christine Klein. 2011 marks the 20th anniversary for Manatee County's Teen Court and Teen Court 2 programs. To recognize and celebrate the milestone of this important community-based program, we will spend some time today with the Teen Court staff and the volunteers who make this program work. Manatee County's Teen Court and Teen Court 2 are diversionary programs run by teen and adult volunteers for first-time youthful offenders who commit a minor offense and admit their guilt. Their cases are heard before a jury of their peers, and they are given sanctions to complete. I'd like to introduce today's guests who will tell us more about Teen Court, their experiences with the program, and how others who are interested, whether teen or adult, can become involved with Teen Court. Joining us now is Sue Locklear. Sue is the supervisor of the Manatee County Teen Court and Teen Court 2 programs. We also have Rena Madrid, the Teen Court 2 coordinator, Paul Karasik, assistant state attorney in the Manatee County office, who's also a volunteer Teen Court judge and a former Teen Court volunteer. Fonzie Selmore is a Manatee High School student, a former Teen Court participant, and now a volunteer teen attorney in training. And Kendall Mackey is a King Middle School student and a volunteer teen attorney. Welcome, everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Sue, to start us off, would you mind giving us a brief history of Teen Court and how the program got started in Manatee County?
Yes, Christine. Teen Court and the Teen Court and the Teen Court 2 program were established in 1991 by our clerk of circuit court, Mr. Shore, and also with the help of Judge Paul Logan, who had been previously involved with the Sarasota Teen Court program, and they brought it to Manatee County to help with some of the to benefit the county, help the children to go through a diversionary program that would not be as scarring, if you might say, as the juvenile justice system is and juvenile courts themselves, and to also help their families, to get them involved with some community service, and also to save taxpayer dollars.
Now, can you tell us a little bit how the program saves Manatee County taxpayers some funds?
Yes, it costs approximately $400 to have a child go through the Teen Court program from beginning to end. But the child going through the Department of Juvenile Justice and the juvenile court system cost approximately $4,000. So obviously we handle quite a few cases. That equates to a savings of almost $2 million a year.
Wow, that is fabulous. Now, the $400 that you mentioned, is that something that the student and their parents has to pay for, or is that just the cost of actually just running the Teen Court operation?
That's the cost of running the Teen Court operation. The parents and the child aren't required to pay anything for our services. As far as the Teen Court program, there are some fees for drug screens and some classes they may have to take depending on the reason they're with our program.
Okay. Can you guys kind of walk us through the Teen Court life cycle, if you will? How do your cases get referred, and then what happens after a student enters into the Teen Court program? Well,
our cases are referred from either law enforcement or the Department of Juvenile Justice. We do get some direct referrals from law enforcement. They also come through the juvenile court system. Once we receive the case, we make contact with the family to schedule them for an intake interview. They come into our office where we explain the program to them fully and answer any questions, have them sign the required paperwork. From that point, a hearing is scheduled for them. Then at the night of the hearing, they go through the hearing process themselves. Once the hearing's over, they meet with either myself or Miss Madrid, and or one of our adult volunteers, and we write up the contract for them, so it's spelled out exactly what they're going to be required to do, and also what their completion date is and when everything needs to be accomplished by.
Now, what if they don't complete the sanctions that the teen jurors give them? What happens then?
Well, depending on how the case was referred to us, it may be referred back to juvenile court if that's who referred the case to us. Any other referral method that it came to us through, then the case would be referred to the state attorney's office. They would review the case and make a determination as to whether or not they're going to file the charge. And if they do file the charge, then the child and the parent would have to appear in juvenile court in front of the juvenile court judge.
Okay. Kendall, I have a question for you as a teen court attorney. What are some of the sanctions that teen jurors can give their peers?
They can give them service hours and jury duties. They can have written apology letters and verbal apologies in court.
What do you find one sanction more effective than the others as far as the making an impact on the kids who participate in teen court?
I personally don't know, but I think the jury duties probably make a bigger impact because they have to sit there and go through the process again with a different person and participate in giving them a sentence.
So the kids who are sentenced, they come back for maybe 2 to 10 jury duties, and then they have to give sentences to other kids who offend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, in your experience in the courtroom, how do the kids enjoy participating in teen court?
I think just speaking from experience and seeing, I think all the participants, honestly, either defendants who are there for their particular case, the volunteers, the people who have to come back and serve their jury duties. I think everybody enjoys it. I think everybody gets something a little bit different about each aspect of the process, and I think in general everybody kind of walks away with a good appreciation of the court system and the criminal court system, and maybe the consequences of someone's actions, and understanding acceptance of responsibility and things of that nature.
So what are the eligibility requirements? Because it almost sounds like what I'm hearing from you all is that teen court is sort of a gift. It's like a second chance. So in order to qualify for that, what are the eligibility requirements?
Well, it has to be a first-time offense. They can never have been through the Department of Juvenile Justice prior to that. They also must plead guilty to the charge. We accept most misdemeanor charges and select felonies depending on the circumstances. So it is a gift. It certainly is. We don't accept everyone, and not everyone is really a candidate for the program depending on their circumstances and everything else.
Now, what are the age ranges to be eligible for teen court?
We start at 10 years old and go up to 17, all the way up till their 18th birthday. We have had a few children that were younger than 10, again, depending on their circumstances and their maturity level and whether or not they would be able to sit and participate as a juror and to be able to make a determination as they're serving their jury duty. So that has a lot to do with it also.
And could you explain for those who are watching, is there a difference between the Teen Court program and the Teen Court 2 program, Rena?
Yes, there is. The Teen Court 2 program is for elementary and middle school kids, and the Teen Court is for the high school kids.
Okay. And Rena, on average, how many cases are referred to Teen Court each year?
We have about 600 cases on average that are referred.
Okay. And is it split fairly evenly between the high school and the middle school and elementary programs?
The high school gets a little more because there's another grade. It's from 9th through 12th as opposed to the middle school where it's only basically 6th through 8th. And sometimes I get elementary cases, but it's really rare. So we do get a lot more high school kids, and they drive, and so they get into trouble, more than
A little
the other
more
kids.
easily.
Yes.
Now, do you all find, well, if I can back up, can you tell us some examples of the cases that are referred to teen court? And then do you see high school students committing more of one type of offense and the middle school students creating a...
Well, we do get an awful lot of retail theft charges, possession of marijuana, fighting at school, battery charges, criminal mischief where they're damaging someone else's property. Sometimes we even get possession of alcohol charges, and those seem to come around kind of in springtime towards prom season and such. Normally the alcohol, marijuana charges, that is more into high school, I think. The retail thefts are probably pretty evenly split amongst the two different programs.
And what other resources are available? I know what you said retail theft or shoplifting is a big offense. What are some of the other help that the students can get if they are engaged in risky behavior?
Well, our children that come to us with a retail theft charge, they're required to go to a shoplifting class that is put on down at the State College of Florida once a month. Also, anyone that comes to us with any sort of drug or alcohol offense, they're required to go to drug and alcohol counseling, and we have a couple different programs, either the SAFE program, which is through the Manatee County School Board, or Manatee Glens also offers the same sort of counseling sessions, which also includes random drug screens with that. And then we also require all of our children that come to us with drug or alcohol offenses to attend one of the victim impact panels that's put on by the Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Well, I bet that has an impact on the kids.
Yes, it does.
Hearing those consequences. Now, Kendall, I understand you're in 8th grade at King Middle School. How did you decide to become active with Teen Court?
I have a friend who had been doing it for a really long time, and she had kept trying to get me into it, and I finally decided to go, and I really liked it. So.
And you act as an attorney on Tuesday nights, is that correct? Yes. Now, do you prefer to prosecute or to defend?
I like doing an equal amount of both because you're representing the person who did the crime for defense, so you get to hear their side of the story, and it's challenging to convince the jury that they're really sorry for what they did and that they've changed. And for prosecuting, it's fun because you get to kind of speak for the people, and you get to recommend you get to suggest a sentence that you think the people would want. Yeah, you can be a little bit harsher.
Now, Fonzie, you are a student at Manatee High School, that is correct? And you said you're a senior?
Yes.
That's fabulous. Now, I understand that you went through Teen Court as a participant. Can you tell us, how did you find that experience?
Well, the experience it helped me a lot. Like, I wouldn't say I want to be on that side again. It made me realize like how lucky I was, because some people don't get this chance. They either go to jail or something worse.
So what enticed you to want to come back and be a volunteer?
Well, when I went through the sessions I did, I like helping them. I usually volunteer a lot already, and I thought this chance would be more fun because I had a lot of say, and I felt like I was helping a lot of kids.
Excellent. Now, besides being attorneys, what other roles can the teens play, for lack of a better word, on Tuesday nights?
Well, they can also serve as a clerk, which they actually have to keep the sentences for each of the defendants that come through. They swear in the defendants, they swear in the juries, they sit next to the judge. We also have bailiffs that escort the defendants and their families in and out of the courtroom. Also another bailiff that escorts the jurors in and out. And then also jurors. We're always in need of jurors to listen to the cases and make decisions on sentences for the children.
Okay, that's great. Now, Kendall, if you had a friend or a student at school you knew who was contemplating making a bad decision, being a volunteer attorney in teen court, what advice would you give that friend?
Well, I'd tell them not to do it and to consider the consequences that could happen. Because kids come in and they regret it, and their families are upset, they're upset, and it's just not a good situation to be in, or to have been in.
Now, for our 3 volunteers, what are the jurors looking for when the defendant's on the stand and their case is being heard? What helps the juries decide, is it going to be a more lenient sentence or is it going to be a harsher sentence? What helps the juries make up their mind?
I'll volunteer, not having actually ever sat on a jury, but just presiding over enough hearings and listening to the participants testify and just sort of gauging the way that they get sentenced in the end. I think some of the big things that they're looking for is their demeanor, and whether they're taking the hearing and the process seriously, or whether they're just kind of laughing it off, whether they're showing remorse, whether they're sorry for their actions and they're taking responsibility for them. I think those are some of the things that they're looking for as far as in making a determination what a fair and appropriate sentence is going to be.
Now, I know that since the sanctions can be jury duties, community service hours, apology letters, classes, whatnot, do you all feel that the kids who go through teen court take it seriously because it takes up so much of their time and energy to complete the sanction? Do you think they appreciate the experience that they've been through? Kendall?
I do think they appreciate it, because it was that second chance, and they know that if they had to go through this, but if they went through juvenile court, it would have been a lot worse.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like earning that second chance and paying it back. And Fonzie, I know you said you also do other volunteering, but I think that's really important to give back to the community. Do you feel that the other students that you've worked with appreciate maybe expanding their horizons by volunteering where they haven't in the past?
Well, I usually volunteer like medical places, and I never really thought about attorney-wise. This was like a new experience for me, and it really did help me. And I feel like how you asked, asked her that question about how it would help other people. It certainly helped me, because I have a job, and having to go through all this made me miss some time at working. So I don't want to go through this again. And it made me learn a really big lesson.
So what advice would you give a friend if they were thinking about maybe some retail theft or getting in a fight at school? What advice would you give them?
I've been on this side, and they really would not want to do this. And said they might not be as lucky as I am, because I got that chance. They could do something worse than I did and have to actually go to jail and have this on their record, and it would ruin their career.
Was it impactful? Were you nervous when you were on the stand for your hearing? What's it feel like to sit in that chair with the jury of your peers?
Well, it was kind of scary because everyone's watching you. But the judge, I had a grand jury because it was over the summer and a lot of kids were not there. But the judge was really, his voice, he was very nice, and he made me feel better, even though I was there for a bad reason.
Bad choices.
Yeah.
That's okay. Now, you all came to teen court for different reasons. Rena, can you tell us a little bit about how you recruit volunteers and what type of volunteers you're looking for and the different things that they can do if they choose to get involved with teen court?
Yes. We do press releases, and either for teens or adult volunteers. As far as the teenagers, we also visit schools and hand out flyers that gives out the information. We normally train teen attorneys, and there's 3 sessions that we do, and they come in and they get trained by some of our current adult volunteers that we have, and also some of our adult attorney volunteers, and they help us out with the training. As far as the adult volunteers, when they want to come in to help out, either I or Ms. Locklear will train them, and then we also have other adult volunteers that jump in and train them as well. And the adult volunteers can come in and help us watch the kids and write contracts and explain to the families the sanctions if they have any other questions. So they're a very big help to the program. We certainly wouldn't be able to do what we do without their help.
Now, if someone is interested in volunteering, is there a certain time commitment? Do they need to come every Tuesday night? Do you all meet every Tuesday night of the year? How does that work?
We meet every Tuesday night of the year with the exception of about 5 holidays that we don't, and they coincide with school holidays, over Christmas break and spring break. And we don't require a certain number of times that they come and volunteer per month. We take any and all volunteers. If they can only come once a month, once every month and a half. We have some of our adult volunteers that come every single month, or every single week. They just really enjoy it. It's a new experience for them, and I think they really feel like they're giving back to the community and helping out, and it's a good experience for all of them, the adults and the teens alike.
And I apologize for not asking this earlier in our show, but where are the hearings actually held?
They're held in the Manatee County Judicial Center on the 4th floor, and we usually occupy 3 or 4 courtrooms up there. We pretty much take up the entire floor and just kind of move in for a few hours. And they have to come, they have to go through a security process and to enter into the judicial center like they do any other day of the week that they would come there. And our hearings start, we usually ask everyone to appear about 5:15, and then we're usually done and out of there between 7 and 7:15.
Oh, well, that's pretty quick then.
Yes.
How many hearings do you have on an average Tuesday night?
Anywhere between 8 to 12 on a Tuesday night, and we hold them in, like I said, 3 or 4 courtrooms, and it's kind of a revolving door. We get one in, and their jury goes out to deliberate, and we bring another one in, and we get it done. We're real efficient at getting everyone moved in the proper places.
Now, Kendall, what's your favorite type of case to try?
Well, I have different preferences for prosecuting or defending. For prosecuting, I really like the retail theft cases because they're usually pretty open and shut, and they stole something and they didn't get away with it. You can go through those really quick. And for defending, cases like drug possession, because in my experience, those are usually the kids who are expressing remorse and guilt more openly, and they seem to have really changed.
Now, Paul, you've been with Teen Court for quite a while, since you were a teen, and we're going to kind of walk through your life cycle a little bit. As a high school student, why did you decide to get involved with Teen Court?
Honestly, I was on the mock trial team in high school, and I had heard about the Teen Court program, and I liked the idea of being able to just be in the courtroom and get an experience in the courtroom. I think, just like Sue said, it takes place in the same courtrooms that everyday court goes on during the day, and just volunteering week after week, it became to be something that I came to look forward to, and really liked it, and really liked having an opportunity just as a teenager to work with the law and get involved with that and be in the courtroom, and which is what sort of spurred my interest in going to law school ultimately later on in life, which is what I did.
And then now, as a practicing attorney, you still give up your time to volunteer for Teen Court. What made you make that commitment? Having worked with the program in high school, and I also during college, I did a short internship over the summer with the program as well, and it was always just a program that I kept in touch with and came back to at least just visit and see how it was going. And I think it's a worthwhile program. I think it's come to be an important part of the juvenile justice system. I think locally, at least in our community, for those first-time offenders, for those kids who just made that mistake and need an opportunity to sort of reflect and understand what they did. And I think because of that, it's a worthwhile program, and
that's why I wanted to volunteer with it.
And it certainly must alleviate, a portion of the caseload for the juvenile judge. I mean, 600 cases is certainly a significant number that he hopefully won't have to see. And I'm going to throw this question out there kind of randomly, but is there an average teen court participant? I mean, if you had to say, oh, the average person who goes through teen court is, or is it across all socioeconomic barriers? What does your average defendant
in my experience, I believe that it crosses all barriers from, the family that, is maybe, child's going to private school and everything seems to be right on course for the rest of their life, all the way to families that are struggling. And almost across the board, you get the same response from the parents that they don't understand. They aren't sure what happened, and it is quite an eye-opening experience for most of the families to go through it and have their child really be. And we encourage them to be very open and honest about what's going on in their life, and so we can help them, because that's why we're there. We're not there to punish them. Mm-hmm. We're there to help them and to get them through this phase of their childhood and on to becoming a productive adult and making good choices the rest of their life.
Well, that is really fabulous. And I regret that we're almost at the end of our time. What I would like to do is start with Rena and just give your final thoughts on teen court and what it means to you in the community.
I feel very blessed to do the work that I do, because it's a fantastic program, and I know that a lot of these kids are going through a hard time and they just need some guidance, and even if we only have them for a few months, it's a great feeling to know that we're helping them, and that's just a really good feeling to know that those kids saw the light and they changed the way that they were living in that moment.
Excellent, thank you. Fonzie, what are your thoughts?
Well, it made me realize what I want to do in my future, and that I shouldn't get in trouble if I want to get to where I want to go, which is medical school. So yeah, doing this has really helped me a lot, and I think it'll help other people, other kids who don't know.
Would you encourage friends to get involved with teen court?
Oh, I have.
Oh, good. Well done.
Yeah, our key club is doing teen court now.
Great. And Kendall, what are your final thoughts?
It's a really great program. It's a lot of fun to go and know that you're helping people, and you get service hours for it, which never hurts. But it's just, if anyone is ever thinking about volunteering anywhere, teen court is a really good choice. So.
Thank you. Paul?
I mean, I'd echo just what everybody else had to say. I think it's a really worthwhile program, both for the volunteers who get to come and have that experience, volunteering as attorneys, volunteering as jurors, and I think it's a worthwhile program for those offenders who are able to go through the program and sort of understand and have that jury of their peers, telling them how they feel about their actions and everything like that. And I mean, I'd just like to add that, I think Fonzie's story is that's sort of the great success of the teen court program, where you have someone who comes through it as a defendant, but comes back to volunteer in the program, because that's sort of what it's about. It's about, learning and moving on, and that's why I think it's a good program.
Thank you. Sue?
And I, again, would like to echo everything that everyone else has said. I agree wholeheartedly with Paul about Fonzie's story, and nothing touches us more than to have a child that's gone through the program, and then, and when you're initially going through the interview and you tell them they can come back and volunteer when they're done, and they look at you like there is no way in the world I'm ever coming back here again. And then when they do actually show up, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it, because I'm like, okay, it did really work. It opened their eyes to what's going on. And I would also like to say, though, that Rena and I could not do what we do without our volunteers. Last night we were doing some attorney training volunteer, and our volunteers that came to help us with that. And I counted up all the volunteers we had there with us last night, just the adults. We had 12 volunteers helping us last night.
Wow.
We couldn't do that on our own. We just couldn't.
No, that's fantastic. And I'd like to thank each of you for spending some time with us today and sharing your experiences and insight about Manatee County's Teen Court and Teen Court 2 programs. I think the information you've shared with us today has helped our viewers know that Teen Court benefits Manatee County in many different ways, from giving children who've made a bad decision meaningful consequences and a second chance to get on track, to providing valuable volunteer opportunities for students and adults, and most importantly, to saving Manatee County taxpayers a substantial amount of money when these first-time offenders go through Teen Court and Teen Court 2 instead of the juvenile justice system. Manatee County Teen Court and Teen Court 2 celebrates its 20th year thanks to the support from the community, the clerk of the circuit court, the Board of County Commissioners, and the student and adult volunteers who dedicate their time and energy into making Manatee County a safer and more positive community in which to live. If you would like to learn more or discuss volunteer opportunities, please contact Sue Locklear or Rena Madrid. On behalf of Teen Court and our guests, I'm Christine Klein. Thank you all for watching.